All right. All right. So I am Professor Worthley. I wanted to make a quick presentation to kind of walk you through. I'm going to turn on the big light because it looks like I'm sitting in the dark. I'm not. I have a lamp on. There we go. Light up my office a little bit more. Okay, so I just want to kind of walk you through Brightspace and then our presentation, the introductory presentation, mostly just honing in on the assignments. So I'm going to try to make this quick. So I'm going to jump straight into Brightspace. Let me share my screen, make sure I put on student view here. View as a student. All right. I'm going to walk you through. So this is my '08 section, but they're all pretty much the same. I'm not going to walk you through the lab. I might make another one this week for lab students. So some Comp 1 students have to take a Comp 1 lab at the same time and some don't. So if you are like, what lab is she talking about? Then you're not in that class. So just don't worry about it if I say the lab. But let me share my screen and kind of walk us through Brightspace. All right, so here's our Brightspace. So if you go to, fall 2026, here's our Brightspace class. So I'm going to click on content. And all that you need is right here in content. So here's your syllabus and the introduction presentation. Here's our unit 1. So everything is broken down week by week. So as long as you know the date, then you'll know what we're doing, right? So you'll know what we're doing. So week 1, week 2, really all you're going to need, all you're going to need is content, and that's where to find all this. And then this ribbon is right in the way. Let's kind of move it down here. So you need content, and then we have some discussions. You really don't need to click on discussions because all your discussions are under here. So everything that you need really is in content. I tried to make a hyperlink each time. So there's an assessment, there's a quiz. Actually, I want to rename that quiz. Anyway, so there's an assessment, there's a little quiz there. So everything that you need is right here. But I want to kind of break some things down. So we're divided into 5 different units and then the final. So we have Unit 1, Academic Integrity. So whenever I click on that, you notice I just first have just a summary of what the unit is. And then it goes into week by week. So week 1, week 2. So here's a summary of the week. It's a 2-week unit. So for 2 weeks, we're going to introduce ourselves and then talk about AI. And then we're going to jump into the narrative unit. So again, it has the narrative interactive memoir. It has a description of the unit, and then it's divided into week 3 and week 4. Again, and everything that you need is right under here, right? All the assignments. The only thing that's not is a group. So we will be joining groups when we do the round table, right? And I don't want to get into too much of this stuff here. I try to put as much as I can. So for instance, this week 3, we have some steps for this week. We have what we need to read or watch, what we need to write. And then if you're ever just like, man, this is so much information, just go to submit. Submit by Friday, September 3rd. If I submitted my interactive memoir instructions, I was supposed to be in, I went through this 100 times. Anyway, so that's that handwritten because it is for the face-to-face. But as long as you got that submit, you're going to be okay. All right. So every single week, week 4. I'm in week 4. It's a whole lot. I come down here. Submit roundtable handouts in groups, comment on each group's application handout by Friday. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Right? If I have any questions on how to, if I'm doing this, okay, I think this is what I need to do. As long as you got this submit, then you're doing great. All right? Then you'll be doing just fine. So we have 5 different units. We have our Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. They're broken down into the essays that we're going to be writing. And that's what I'm going to get into here in just a moment. But first of all, again, I just wanted to show you Brightspace. So everything that you need, let's go back to our course home, right? So I go to my course home and everything I need is in content. So everything I need is right here. And then we go to more tools and grades. I haven't uploaded the grade book just yet. I'll get all that done this week. But I got content, our discussion boards, our assignments, everything that we need really should just be in content, except for one, and I couldn't put the group. So more tools and groups when we get there. You'll need to find a group. All right. So let's go to our presentation. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be doing far more Zoom videos than just this one. All right, so let's go to our presentation. Let me share the screen with the presentation here. Um, share. Let's go to the presentation. All right, share the presentation, slideshow from beginning. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, I promise. Slideshow from beginning. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these. No, actually, I didn't want to do that. I just want to click on one by one on my own. All right. So the slideshow, you can watch the slideshow. It has just some welcome and some music playing in the background from Henrik, one of my favorite artists. You're more than welcome to mute the music. It just goes in a little bit about me, my college history, my teaching history. The teaching history is really important because I first began teaching zero level courses, and zero level courses are where my heart is. It's what I love to do. I love to help developing students who need a little bit more help. Is what I love to teach, right? Then we have a little bit of my family, my husband and my, come on, click with me. I have my husband, I have a son and a daughter. I have a few pictures just to kind of show you that there is a person behind the screen. There's a family behind the screen here, right? A little bit about where I started and why I share this. And then by about slide 8, we kind of go into some course goals. And these are all straight from the syllabus. This is kind of like a presentation for those who get lost in the syllabus. So if you find yourself overwhelmed by the syllabus, just go to the presentation. And this is what it really kind of comes down to. So some goals that we have, we want to analyze rhetorical strategies, evaluate diverse texts, apply some genre conventions. We really want to stress the composing process, and that's going to be handwritten. You might hate me for that, but it's going to be handwritten. And it started by saying me as the instructor, I did not develop these abilities all at once when I was a student. I did not arrive at college already knowing how to succeed academically. I built them through reading, writing, practice, feedback, reflection. That experience is also shapes how I teach Comp 1. So I don't expect, this is what it says down here, these skills you must not bring, sorry. These are not skills you must bring into the course. They are skills that you will build through the course. So if you're like, I don't know what rhetorical strategies means, what diverse texts are we going to be talking about? That's okay. Don't worry about it. This is just some of the things that we're going to be doing all semester long. Some other course goals by slide 9, some rhetorical strategies, diverse text, some genre conventions. This is what all this means, right? I'm going to go down to academic identity. I like to mostly hone in on entering into conversations going on around us, critical thinking as a personality trait, and that lifelong learning, right? We want that lifelong learning. Um, so then let's jump into our assignment. So this is what we've been waiting for. It's been like, will you hurry up and get to our assignments? All right. So we have some AI use and academic integrity assignments, right? So more than just one. That's that 2-week unit that by the end of those 2 weeks, you'll have earned 100 points, up to 100 points, depending on, how well you do. And then we're going to get into this multimedia memoir, a literary analysis of some Poe readings, a process analysis essay, and an advertisement argument essay. So we have these 5 major units that are broken down to these points, right? They have little assignments with them. So what are these? What do these mean? Well, first one again, our AI and academic integrity assignments. That's you have a discussion there called the gift of voice discussion. You have why writing by hand is important type of discussion and things like that. So you have mostly some discussions, and then you have this really, really easy quiz. One of those quizzes where the answer is obvious. You're just kind of saying, yes, I know not to use AI. I know how to use it. This AI unit, we really want to jump into, do you know what plagiarism is? Do you know the my policy is as well as the Seminole State's policy on using AI to write essays for you, right? So we go into a whole week. It's really an introduction in one whole week where we are making sure all students know what it means to think critically. So here we are. We will take time to establish shared expectations. This is what I'm reading right here. This is what we're doing. We will take time to establish shared expectations about what it means to write, research, and think critically in an age of generative AI. Right, so there's a few assignments around that. Then we're going to jump into our next one, and that's the multimedia memoir. And this is a handwritten memoir Let me grab one of these. I have tons of these if you need one. You have to get a journal. So Dollar Tree has them for $1.25 to $1.75. They have them pretty cheap. But I also have these that are just journals. You're more than welcome to one. I have plenty for this semester. But you're going to have to get a journal because I want you, it's not, you're not writing a journal, by the way. This is not today I got up and ate, Fruit Loops. Well, it's not that type of journal. It's a memoir. And a memoir is where you record memories, right? Where we record stories. And I welcome students to put ephemera, which are pictures, recipe cards, anything that you can decorate it, or you can just put just the required ephemera in it. But throughout the entire semester, we will have 5 Memoir Mondays. And that is where we read a reading. I don't have that's the only thing I don't have yet are the readings, but you'll read a reading like an excerpt from The Glass Castle or an excerpt from Half Broke Horses or something like that. Just a short reading. And the reading is supposed to pull something out of you, your own memory. What memory did this spark? And you write that memory in your memoir. So we're going to introduce it first, and that's what we do in this narrative unit. So by week 3 to week 4, we are introducing this idea that I cannot be boiled down to a single story, right? I have multiple stories that make up who I am, and I don't have enough time to really get into that in this one video because I want to get to the rest. But we write our introduction first. We introduce this idea that I am not a single story, and then we're going to have 5 Memoir Mondays, and then the final we're going to write the conclusion. So please do not turn this into a journal. Please don't put your class notes. Get you a little journal that you can write your memoir. You're going to have to get a handwritten memoir, and then you're going to have to take pictures of it and show it to me. I get that it can be kind of a pain to upload handwritten stuff, but we do a lot of handwriting in this class. We do a lot of things written by hand in this class. All right, and that's what this is. So we're going to read things like Persimmons by Ling Young Lee, Fish Cheeks by Amy Tan, some excerpts from Walking the Choctaw Road by Tim Tingle. So we're going to read a lot and then write our own stories and keep them in a journal. This is a ChatGPT image because I didn't want to mess around with copyright. So I asked ChatGPT to make me an image to kind of grasp what we're looking at here. Right. So be prepared with that. And that is 200 points. So by the end of the semester, this will earn you 200 points if you keep up with that. All right. And then we're going to go into a literary analysis inside the stories of Poe. And that's where we read Annabel Lee, which is a short poem, The Telltale Heart, which is about a 6 to 7 page story, and then The Raven, which is about a 3 to 4 page poem. So, but then 3 weeks. So 2 weeks we read these, and then the third week we write. So the first week we read Annabel Lee and the Telltale Heart, and I want us to print it off, write on it, annotate it, write in the margins and whatnot, where ideas change, and then upload those annotations. We also Zoom, or you can just show me. You can say, hey, I annotated it. Let me tell you what I annotated, and I can check that off. So if you're having a hard time annotating your stories, if you're having a hard time annotating your sources that we're going to read, you can Zoom with me and tell me what you annotated, right? You can just tell me what you did there. But I'm going to read those, and we just simply say, what does Poe use to help us get into the mind of the narrator, right? What alliteration, what, rhythm, what word choice, what did he use? What mood did he use? What settings? What did he use to help us get inside the stories of Poe? That's it, because it is a literary analysis. So we don't want to apply ourselves to this. We only want to analyze these stories of Poe. So we work on that for 3 weeks. And that's also, I believe, is worth 200 points. So we have all these little things that are worth 200 points. You do an artwork, by the way. And I think I have one class that has a lot of concurrent students. So if you have a friend with you and your friend want to do an Edgar Allan Poe artwork together, just let me know, what you both contributed to it. Because it's a low stakes assignment, meaning it's not worth a whole lot of points. And I just want you to have fun making some kind of artwork, right? I don't expect you to do this portrait poster that you can apparently buy at Walmart. But make an artwork out of painting, out of clay, however you want to do it. You'll make an artwork out of Poe, and then you upload the picture of your artwork to the discussion board, and everybody comments on our artwork. So that's one thing that we'll do with Edgar Allan Poe. All right, and then we're going to jump into a how-to. My in-person class, so it says using iRobot. My in-person class, we watch iRobot in class, but you'll see on Brightspace that you have some other things to choose from, such as you can just excerpt some clips from iRobot. You can watch a couple of clips that I'll upload, or you can talk about a different. There's other movies that you can apply, because we don't use it that much. Oh, sorry, we don't use it that much. Whoa, where did I go? There you go. We don't use it that much. It's just a starting point. And then you write a how to, right? So for instance, there's some parts in iRobot, such as when like the grandmother has a robot bake a pie for her, and the robot bakes a great pie. So is that okay? The grandma knew how to make the pie, right? So she knew the process, she knew how to do it. She just got a robot to make life a little bit easier for her, but she already knew how to do that. Is that okay? Is it okay for technology to write things for us? I use AI a lot to make these PowerPoints and whatnot, but I know how to do it, right? I just used it to save time. But what happens if I don't know how to do it? And I just have if I just have, technology do it for me, but I didn't know how to do it in the first place. What did I just give to the machine? And that's what we're going to get into later. But so this essay is just a how to, like how to guard a faster basketball player, how to improve a lift workout without injuring yourself, how to bring a young or nervous horse under control. So I try to think of like what are some of the things that you guys are doing that you can explain to me how to do, and when do I need to ask for help? When is it okay to get technology to help me? Right? So it's a how to, but it's much deeper than that. We'll walk through a process. You do a process plan, you do an interview, you interview somebody else, and then you walk your friends and family through how to do this, right? You make a presentation. You don't show us the presentation, you show your friends and family the presentation on how to do this and what questions would they ask you, and then you write the essay. All right, so that's the how to. And then we're going to jump into the advertisement argument. And that is the advertisement argument. It's a compare and contrast argument where we say commercials use our stories. So we're writing all these stories, all these memories, but commercials use these memories and these stories and our identity to sell their product, right? They'll use like a relationship between a daughter and a father to get you to buy the product, or really to get you to trust the company, to build their ethos. So we just compare and contrast a music video and a commercial to talk about how the commercial is another form of entertainment that uses my identity to sell its product, right? So it's a compare and contrast argument that you say, hey, this commercial is trying to build its ethos using my identity. That's pretty much what it is. It's using me to build its identity. All right. So the last thing it goes into, you do not have to arrive ready. You only need to be willing to show up, to think, ask questions, practice, accept feedback, and keep improving, just like me, just like whenever I was a student. I did not show up ready, I promise you. Where you begin does not determine where you can go. So let's get started. And then it ends with the pre-write assessment. So this is the first week of class. We want to make sure that we do this pre-write assessment, right? So we want to read the sayings poster. Great things do not happen because you have a gift or talent. Great things happen when you are awake for the moment. So read the saying poster, handwrite a thesis-driven 5-paragraph essay representing the quote in one specific life experience. And do not panic. You are not supposed to do well. The only way that you're going to lose 300 points is one, if it's not handwritten, because I will not accept some AI spit out where you copy and paste this into AI and it does it for you. I won't accept that. So it has to be handwritten. I trust a lot of students, I really do, but our pre-writes are handwritten, our outlines are handwritten, the assessments are handwritten, the annotations are handwritten. It's to fight AI, and it's to get that critical thinking back into our brains, right? It's to get that back into our minds. And it's not because of AI, it's because of the keyboard, because we are getting far away to writing things by hand on notebooks. We're getting away from this and to the keyboard, and it is it's rewiring our thinking capabilities. That's really the reason. It really doesn't have much to do with AI that we handwrite. It's really to get that creative thinking capability back that we are giving away really to the keyboard, not so much to AI. That's also what we're going to talk about during the first week. All right. So make sure it's just 100, or make sure it's one page. This 300 words or whatever. Make sure it's full page. So as you're writing, that we have a full handwritten page and that it is handwritten and you can upload that. And if I need to zoom and you tell me about it, I can. That assessment I have to hold on to and compare to the very end. So take a picture of it, upload it to Brightspace in the assessments, and then you'll have that. So I'll show you kind of how to do that. All right, so let's say I have my assessment. I'm gonna go back to our Brightspace, and then we'll be done. But let's say I have my, oh, not that. I have my assessment. I typed it up by hand. What am I gonna do now? I'm going to, so I'm in Unit 1, right? I can scroll down to Week 1 where it says Week 1 Writing Assessments. Click on that, and it goes straight to the writing, right? So I go to Upload. And I can upload a picture. Here's on my syllabi. I can click on a picture. Let's say that this is a PDF. So let's say it's a picture, open, and I'm uploading that, right? And then I think I've uploaded it. Oh, got to hit that submit. Please remember the blue submit button. I get a lot of students who are like, oh, I uploaded and I forgot to hit submit. So please make sure you hit that submit button. It's that easy. You can take a picture on your phone and upload it to submit. All right. Well, I hope you have a good time. The last thing that I really want to say, and I'm going to make just a really, really quick announcement on the announcements part. The last thing I really want to say is just the handwriting, and I really just want us to have fun in the classroom again. Just have some fun interviewing your friends and family, showing them what you do, creating an artwork, reading and showing what you've read, right? Don't think of like these assignments as independent from one another. They're all building towards an idea, and and that idea is just to make you a more critical thinker. That's it, for you to think more critically, think more deeply, and be able to apply ideas, right? So you show me you're doing that, and you're going to do great. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Welcome to Comp 1, and let me know if you have any questions, and welcome to Comp 1. All right, and meeting.